Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Shows, Style, and Spirit. I am Ebony, and I want to talk about the lawsuit and countersuit involving actors Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. We know that Justin, his lawyers have declared that they will amend their original complaint against Blake Lively after the defamation charges were dismissed against Blake. And I also want to talk about, why judges allow people to amend complaints, especially after a dismissal. So before we get into it all, I ask that you please hit the like button on this video and please subscribe to the channel. And everything that I'm saying in this video is alleged and just my opinion. Okay, so as I'm sure you may be aware of, Blake Lively, she actually complained about Justin Baldoni for alleged harassment while they were filming It Ends With Us. I saw the movie last year, It Ends With Us. It is about DV. So it is a serious and important topic that, the movie was about. I thought it was a great film. I thought it had beautiful performances, a very rich, meaningful story, and it got really deep because, of course, the film suggests that Blake's character would put up with the DV because she must have seen it growing up, and she did. And then that childhood story actually deepens into something very special. And I don't want to give it all away just in case you decide to stream it. I'm sure you could buy it here on YouTube, or one of your streaming platforms that you have subscriptions to may already have the film, but definitely check it out. So Justin and Blake, they filmed this movie together that came out just last year. Justin played a doctor who his character is physically abusive to Blake's character. And, according to Blake, she was dealt with inappropriately by him, and she made formal complaints and filed a lawsuit. Then he turned around and he countered. Now, we also know that Blake and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, I am a fan of Ryan Reynolds. He plays the superhero Deadpool, a very handsome guy, funny guy. He also worked with Sandra Bullock in The Proposal, and Betty White, rest her soul, from Golden Girls, she was in The Proposal. So I love Ryan Reynolds. That is Blake Lively's husband, and the two of them are close friends with country singer star Taylor Swift. And Justin Baldoni had gotten really tough in court. He wanted to try to get the text messages between Taylor and Blake to show any sort of conversation that they may have had about Justin or about the harassment claims. And very recently, Blake's lawyer has filed a motion to try and block from Justin Baldoni's legal team from getting those text messages. We also know that he tried to subpoena Taylor Swift. And so I feel like this has gotten really dirty and nasty. This is why when people are harassed on their job, this is one of the reasons why people do not want to come forward, because they don't want to deal with the nastiness from the opposing party, that they feel like has been harassing them, being inappropriate with them, violating their boundaries. I also feel like people don't come forward because people kind of treat them mean and are cold towards them when they do speak up and say, hey, this happened to me. But I also feel like some people may get intimidated from how the other party will respond, so then they just shy away from it. So kudos to Blake Lively for speaking up. And I know that she has her husband's support. Support always goes a long way. So I'm glad that she spoke up, though, because obviously this was her experience. But Justin has definitely been fighting back. And after the defamation charges were dismissed, his legal team said that they will amend. I remember, like, I was at the gym closing out on the bike, like doing a cool down, and I could see the closed caption on one of the monitors. And it was a statement from Justin Baldoni's legal team saying, the judge did leave room for us to amend the original complaints, for the numbers that were not dismissed. So I just want to talk about that and then get into, why people can amend complaints anyway. That's a question that I've had in the back of my mind, for a while now. And then I feel like with actors, entertainers, period, we've just been in this season of lawsuits. Some people make the joke and say ever since Cat Williams sat on that sofa and was interviewed by Shannon Sharp, the world has not been the same since. I have to say, around that time, I just feel like the number of lawsuits involving entertainers has skyrocketed. Between when Tasha K lost her case against Cardi B to when Cat Williams sat on that couch and talked to Shannon Sharp, it's been lawsuit crazy ever since. Okay, so I just typed in the sentence to get Google to know what I was looking into. I said Justin Baldoni will amend his complaint against Blake Lively, period. AI Overview responded with yes. Justin Baldoni will be allowed to file an amended complaint against Blake Lively. A judge has given Baldoni's legal team until June 23rd to amend their claims. This is after a judge dismissed Baldoni's original $400 million defamation lawsuit against Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds. The amended complaint will focus on claims of tortious interference with contract and breach of implied covenant. So it's very specific on what he will be amending the complaint. So, and these are just more details, kind of like a summary of what I just read. So the original lawsuit, Baldoni's initial lawsuit against Lively, Reynolds, and others, was dismissed due to a lack of evidence for defamation claims. Amendment permission. The judge allowed Baldoni to amend his complaint, focusing on claims related to contract interference and breaches of implied agreements. So the judge has to allow an amended complaint. So when we see that, it sounds like, of course, I'm not a lawyer. I do not have my Juris Doctorate. It sounds like from how I am interpreting it, the judge has to give permission for someone to amend their complaint. They're not just doing it willy-nilly. That's what I think from what I am interpreting. And he has until June 23rd to amend the complaint. That's just a week and a half away, 10 days away. And wow, both parties have indicated that they are not interested in settling through mediation. So they definitely want to fight it out. And Blake Lively, of course, she was satisfied. She called the defamation dismissal as a victory. And Justin Baldoni is definitely fighting back. So now I want to go ahead and talk about why a judge would allow someone to continuously amend the complaint. So, of course, we've obviously learned that they have to get permission by the judge. And then they also, it goes into why judges would even be open to that. And so I pose the question, why do judges allow people to amend complaints so many times? And AI Overview states, judges generally allow amendments to complaints to promote justice and fairness, ensuring that cases are decided on their full merits rather than being dismissed due to technical errors or incomplete information. Allowing amendments, especially early in the case, helps avoid unnecessary litigation and allows parties to present their arguments effectively. Now, this kind of, when I read this, it kind of reminded me of, I did a video on just my frustration with Martell Holt being able to constantly push back the Revenge P case, where he's appealing his conviction of trying to carry out Revenge P against his ex-wife, Melody Cherie. And I did a video because I asked Google, why can a person just push back a trial or a hearing? And it's because when they present that request, the judge doesn't want that person to be able to say that they did not get a fair trial when they were asking for more time and they were denied that. So that's why the judge will kind of like play along. So then when I asked Google, why do judges allow people to amend complaints? They're trying to promote justice and fairness. It sounds like that's an overall principle that judges have to try and carry out, as I guess all the time, 100% of the time. The overarching principle is that courts should allow amendments when doing so is in the interest of justice. This means that if a plaintiff can fix a deficiency in their complaint, such as adding a missing fact or clarifying a legal theory, the court will generally allow it. Also, it allows you to address deficiencies. Amendments can correct errors, add new claims, include additional parties, or clarify inadequate claims. For example, a plaintiff might realize they need to add a new defendant or a specific legal basis for their claim after the initial filing. And also with early amendments, Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 15A1 allows a plaintiff to amend their complaint once without needing the court's permission within a certain time frame, usually 21 days of serving the original complaint or the defendant's answer or motion to dismiss. This encourages parties to correct mistakes early in the process. And not without limits. While amendments are generally favored, they are not limitless. Judges can deny amendments if they would unduly prejudice the opposing party, such as by causing significant delay or unfair surprise. For example, if a party seeks to add a completely new claim very late in the litigation process, the court might deny the amendment. Okay, so it almost sounds like the amendments they can be capped, right? At some point. They're not limitless. Judges can deny them if they think it would prejudice the opposing party. So judges have to definitely try and promote fairness and justice, not only on behalf of the plaintiff, but the defendant as well. So that is good. And then I saw this term also, relation back doctrine. In some cases, amendments can relate back to the original filing date for purposes like the statute of limitations, meaning the amended complaint is treated as if it was filed earlier. This can be important if the original filing was timely, but a subsequent amendment clarifies the claim or adds a new party. So relation back doctrine protects, it sounds like relation back doctrine protects amendments that may be outside of the statute of limitations because the amendment would relate back to the original filing. So I thought that was interesting. I wanted to share that. That was something that has been on my mind, with me learning that Justin Baldoni plans on amending his initial complaint against Blake Lively. And, with lawsuits that are in the LAMH sector and just lawsuits, period, amongst public figures and entertainers, I've had questions like, I wonder, how is it just so many complaints, like so many numbers, and it just seems like it's just endless. Like, how do cases wrap up then? So, but the amendments are not limitless, and the judge has to promote fairness for both sides. So that kind of, clears things up a little bit for me. But, what do you think about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's case? Do you think that Justin is really trying to fight dirty, trying to bring Taylor Swift in it? Taylor Swift was not in the film. She did not write, produce, or direct the film. You know, he just knows that Taylor Swift is close friends with Blake and Ryan, and I think he's trying to dig up some dirt on Blake. I don't know if it's to say, yeah, he's hot, or, you know, something about her plans to sue. You know, it just seems really low down and dirty. And, you know, what do you think about people being able to file a bunch of amendments? Like, it would like freak me out if like there were just always like new amendments. I would be like, oh my gosh, you know, when do we get a resolve? You know, when can life pre the lawsuit resume, you know? So I wanted to just look into that for just to kind of enlighten myself. But I thank you all so much for checking out this video. Please hit the like button on this video and please subscribe to the channel. And I will talk with you all soon. Have a great night and a peaceful, smooth, calm Saturday. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.